I do want to go and talk a little bit about user-generated content, because I think the way that you're using it is masterful. And I think that is a challenge, I think, for a lot of people. And how do we use and leverage this content that is created by our evangelists, our champions, our enthusiasts? Talk to us a little bit about how you kind of do that, and kind of what that protocol and workflow looks like when you find some great pictures on Instagram, when you find some great recipes in social media, how you kind of move and then broadcast that out from your own social properties.
Sure. Well, when we have themes that maybe we haven't thought about, for instance, the whole keto trend, it's been big for a few years, and again, very high in protein. Sausage is a perfect part of the keto diet. And but if you look at Johnsonville.com and all of our recipes, they all include pasta and breads and casseroles, and so they're not very keto friendly. So we're like, well, it's going to be a little challenging for us to get our culinary team in the kitchen to start thinking about keto recipes. So once we started learning how people were using it, we just simply asked their permission and kind of share it. So we found people using maybe our dinner sausage, like a Better with Cheddar dinner link, smoked sausage link at breakfast, because they really want more flavor and they wanted the cheese. And then we're also vice versa finding people using our breakfast sausage at dinner. And so we learn from them. We really try to see our fans. We are the sausage experts, but we don't know everything. And I think where consumers can help us, and then where we use that UGC, is where they're just getting very creative and thinking of sausage in a different way. And we all know that, anybody in social, they like that peer-to-peer. They, oftentimes UGC content performs better than brand content. So we are happy to share that in the mix of things, because it just gives everybody some new ideas and inspiration. So the keto diet is really where we really started to see the benefit of UGC a lot more. And then times like this, people are buying a lot of meat, and then they're asking us how to store it. And now they're talking about ways to share it and store it, and just looking for different recipes. So we have a hashtag going on right now, social distancing with sausage. And it's, we started it with our own members, our own employees, and now we're starting to see other people, share their fun and different ways they're using it in recipes.
Stephanie, you've just mentioned kind of two uses of social listening that fascinate me. And when I talk to people who aren't in our industry, I think they're surprised at it. And we'll talk kind of about two things there. You mentioned first how you're using social listening. I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'll let you talk about this. But so many companies, especially in the food and nutrition businesses, use social listening almost as R&D to kind of understand what consumers are talking about, what they're eating, what they're not eating, and maybe how they enjoy or don't enjoy certain products. And then you mentioned the situation that we're in right now with COVID-19, and how you can use social listening to better understand what your customers, and even your consumers and your customers, the grocery store chains, as well as people like me, how we're kind of wrestling with all this, and how we need assistance and advice from experts like yourself. Talk a little bit about social listening, because I think that's something that's really interesting, and certainly in these times near and dear to all of our hearts.
Yes, it's I think there's obviously a right way and a wrong way to use social listening. So yes, it can be big brother, and fortunately we have a team that we understand our role in social. Yes, we're part of a larger advertising effort. Social is a tactic for that, but it's also about being helpful. So we kind of see ourselves as an extension of kind of a customer care team or a call center team. So, and we have that team, and they're managing the incoming emails and texts and phone calls. And then we're getting more of those social conversations, and we share, we meet together, and I talk with them every week and say, okay, what are the questions you're getting now in these COVID-19 times? And the number one question is, two questions. Number one question is, how long can I freeze sausage for? Because maybe they've never done it. I have a fully cooked product, but I also have a fresh product. So storage and and things like that. And I said, yeah, we're seeing those same questions here. And then it's like, we don't have any content for that. So we're right now in the process of trying to figure out the best way. And again, what channels can proper storage and how are people searching for those terms? So social listening has really helped us understand those questions and where can Johnsonville be a help to, help that. So that's kind of how we're using social listening in that aspect. And we're looking at building an infographic, maybe a simple blog. And again, how can we then get that content out to people? And also that's a tool then our customer care team will use once we get that product or that information up there.
Are you in a situation now where your social publishing cadence is going up, going down, staying the same? How does it look compared to where we are at pre-pandemic?
I would say our content quantity has definitely gone up. But again, with all the different tools that we have to target to make sure we're not bombarding any one segment over another, we just had our content planning meeting yesterday. We meet every Monday. And it was a lot. And I can tell our team is having a hard time figuring out what are we pushing out versus keeping organic. And we don't do a whole lot of organic, but again, YouTube, we have a lot of what we'll call our hands and pans. So it's no talent in the videos, but it's 60-second or less recipe videos to visually show people something simple because again, YouTube, people are searching there. So we have kind of recipe videos going on YouTube. And then we have different things going on in Pinterest because people are searching for there's just a wealth of information that Pinterest and our Pinterest reps have been very good about sharing with us. And Pinterest has again seen a huge explosion of newcomers to that platform. And then the different content and recipes we've got going on Facebook versus Instagram. So it's been interesting, but we've started pushing out our grilling content earlier than usual because again, if going outside to grill is the only escape people have right now, they've already started that a month earlier. So we had to get our grilling content out there earlier. So yeah, it's just overall our content quantity, I would say, is definitely increased. But we're also having a lot of fun. Again, we are celebrating with people who are out there doing some great things. And so we are pushing a lot of brand content out there in our Johnsonville branded recipes, but we are using a lot of UGC in the mix as well.
It's such an interesting time right now in relationships to a lot of heritage brands are deepening or sort of going back to the way it once was, as Adam nodded to earlier. What is your take on brands sort of putting a stake in the ground for sort of a larger societal role? I think about the recent coverage of the Steakum Twitter account and sort of how, Steakum is now giving out life advice, not just frozen meat slices advice. Obviously not a match for your existing brand tone, but how much do you think about, does Johnsonville stand for something bigger? Could we, should we, how do we even go about approaching a decision like that?
Yeah, those are good questions, and a lot of brands are having those questions. So while we being a sausage company, we have a lot of great helpful recipes and tips and tricks at the grill or in the oven. There's a larger thing at stake. So we also like to think we can provide a little humor. So we will infuse some just simple entertainment type of content as well, and have fun back with our friends who are talking to us. So we have also been pausing a little bit. We're celebrating our family-owned company's 75th anniversary this year. So it's a big milestone, and we have some content around that kind of just talks about some of the interesting ways that had Johnsonville made this decision, we would have been here. Because our owners were thinking about buying a flower shop. Thank goodness they decided on a butcher shop. And we've been just kind of holding back a little bit. I mean, we have it out on YouTube, but we have a lot to celebrate in our heritage and all the employees along the way that have gotten us here. But when we think about what role can we be, we think it's definitely to help. And we also think we can have some fun with our fans right now.